Sometimes the hardest feeling to explain is not sadness. It is the quiet feeling that everyone else is moving and you are not. You look around and people seem to be building careers, buying homes, finding love, making progress. And you start asking yourself a painful question. Why do I feel behind in life? The strange thing is, this feeling does not always come from failure. Sometimes it appears even when you are trying, even when you are surviving, even when you are doing your best. You can feel behind while working hard. You can feel behind while healing. You can feel behind while carrying things other people cannot see. The first reason people feel behind is comparison. The mind looks sideways before it looks inward. It notices who is ahead, who seems happier, who seems more certain, more successful, more settled. And without meaning to, you begin measuring your life against a timeline that was never yours. Someone gets married, someone gets promoted, someone travels, someone buys a house, someone seems to know exactly where they are going. And suddenly your own life starts to look late, small, or unfinished. But comparison hides something important. You are comparing your inner life to someone else's visible moments. You see their highlight. You feel your doubt. You see their result. You live your process. The second reason is invisible effort. Some seasons of life do not look impressive from the outside. Healing does not always look productive. Rest does not always look ambitious. Starting over does not always look successful. But that does not mean nothing meaningful is happening. Sometimes you are not behind. Sometimes you are rebuilding. Sometimes you are learning how to breathe again. Sometimes you are carrying private grief, fear, confusion, exhaustion, or uncertainty. And those things take energy, even when nobody else can see it. The third reason is that modern life turns life into a race. Everywhere you look, there are numbers: age, salary, followers, milestones, deadlines. By 30 this, by 40 that, as if being human were a checklist instead of a journey. The problem with timelines is not that they exist. The problem is that they become rules. And when your life does not match the expected order, you start treating yourself like a mistake. But life is rarely linear. Some people begin early and feel lost later. Some begin late and build something beautiful. Some look ahead on the outside and feel empty inside. Another reason you feel behind is that you remember the version of yourself you thought you would be. Maybe you imagined that by now you would be more confident, more stable, more loved, more accomplished. And when reality looks different, it can feel like you failed your own future. Not only the world's expectations, but your own. This kind of pain is quiet. It is not just disappointment. It is grief. Grief for the life you pictured. Grief for the timing you expected. Grief for the version of you that did not arrive on schedule. But here is what the feeling of being behind often misses. Life is not only made of visible milestones. A person can become wiser without becoming richer. A person can become stronger without becoming louder. A person can become whole while the outside still looks unfinished. Growth is not always public. Sometimes growth looks like setting a boundary for the first time. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed during a difficult month. Sometimes it looks like leaving what hurts you. Sometimes it looks like staying when everything in you wants to run. Sometimes it looks like beginning again without applause. So what can you do when you feel behind? First, question the timeline. Ask yourself, whose clock am I using? Is this really my path, or did I absorb it from family, culture, friends, or the internet? Not every deadline in your head belongs to you. Second, respect invisible progress. If you are healing, adapting, surviving, or learning, that counts. If you are becoming more honest, more self-aware, more grounded, that counts. Not all progress can be photographed. Not all progress can be posted. Third, stop asking whether you are ahead or behind. Ask whether you are moving in a direction that feels true. A small, honest step matters more than a fake, impressive one. A quiet life that fits you is worth more than a loud life that exhausts you. And finally, remember this. Feeling behind does not mean you are lost. It may only mean you are measuring your life with the wrong ruler. You do not need to win someone else's race. You need to notice your own path. Your timing may be different. Your route may be slower. Your progress may be invisible for a while, but invisible is not meaningless. Slow is not broken. Late is not ruined. And behind is not the truth. Sometimes it is only a feeling. And feelings are real, but they are not always accurate. So if life feels late right now, breathe. You are allowed to move at the speed of your real life. You are allowed to become who you are becoming in your own time. And maybe the goal is not to catch up. Maybe the goal is to stop abandoning yourself while you walk. One step, one day, one honest life, still yours, still unfolding.